Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. It's Monday. It's new release day. If you're new here, my name is Kelly, and I am absolutely obsessed with tracking and researching and Googling and figuring out what all the new releases are. I love new releases. So if you do as well, you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit subscribe. Make sure you stay tuned because I drop these videos every single week. This week, we have a little bit shorter of a video than we've had in previous weeks. So this won't be as long if you've been following along for the journey. But regardless, I do have some really cool fragrances to share with you today. So let's dive right into it. Just to give you a quick summary of how I run these videos, if this is your first time watching, basically what we do is we start off with fragrances that are not yet released. So these are fragrances that have been announced, but are not available yet for purchase or for sample. Then we move on to newly released fragrances. These are available for you to sniff, to sample, to purchase, to blind buy, whatever. They are out on the shelves ready for you to experience them. And then the third category is always a leaks category. And I generally have one or two leaks in there. But yeah, those are the three categories. They always go in that order. I generally do everything in alphabetical order as well, by the brand. So if there's a particular brand that you're interested in, just know that it's in alphabetical order. One more disclaimer before we get into today's content. Another thing is, you guys just keep in mind that I film these videos and then it takes me a couple of days to edit them and upload them. I have my own business. I also have a part-time job, plus my channel, plus life, 3 dogs, 75 hard, like so many things that I have going on. So I can't just like film a video and then edit it and post it that night. My schedule just does not allow that at this time. I just want to put that out there because sometimes you'll hear me talk about a fragrance as it not being released yet. And then by the time this video goes up, which is generally just in a couple of days, it has been released. So just a disclaimer on that. If there's anything that you hear about that I say isn't released yet and you're like super excited about it, just go ahead and Google it because it may have been released in the time that I filmed and the time that I uploaded. So I'm trying to do my best at keeping my ear to the ground and keeping up with all these new releases. It's so crazy and amazing how many releases there are. But yeah, just bear with me because I am a human. I'm not a robot. I'm not AI. Yeah, just bear with me. All right, let's dive right in. So the very first category for today is our not yet released fragrances going in alphabetical order. And we're starting off with one of my favorite houses. This is a fragrance called Muscat Venice by Amouage. And with this one, we have top notes of bergamot, jasmine, and osmanthus, middle notes of black tea, rose, and mate, and base notes of tonka bean, labdanum, and benzoin. And this is another Quentin Biche creation, so I'm sure it's going to be amazing. No idea on the release date, not even a clue for this one. So I will keep you updated as I find out more information about this. One more thing, I forgot to say this in the beginning like I usually do, but what's your scent of the day? Drop it in the comments. Mine is Roses Vanille by Mancera. It's a very dreary, kind of stormy day outside today here in Austin, Texas, hence my Longhorns sweatshirt. I always put that on when it's like kind of, gross and cozy, and Roses Vanille just felt so perfect today. So that's my scent of the day. I would love to know yours. Drop it in the comments. All right, next we have 2 upcoming releases from a house I have never heard of before. This house is called Anindria, and the first fragrance is called Seekwood. The perfumer is, here we go with the Greek. The perfumer is Spiros Drossopoulos. I think that's actually right. And this one has notes of orange blossom, saffron, papyrus, santalol, iso pear, mandarin, cedarwood, benzoin, myrrh, guaiac wood, musk, and ambroxan. This sounds really good. The other one is called Oris Soya, and the perfumer for this one is Francesca Bianchi, which, if you know, she makes fabulous fragrances. So the notes for this one, we've got bergamot, magnolia, heliotrope, orris, narcissus, patchouli, leather, labdanum, vanilla, musk, and ambroxan. Francesca Bianchi is very well known for doing animalics really well and just kind of like pungent, challenging fragrances. So I'm interested. I'm not that familiar with the note of narcissus. Yeah, and the other notes I'm pretty familiar with. So I'm really curious at how this comes out, if it's going to be pushing the boundaries like she normally is with her fragrances or not. We will see. Next up, we have a new release by the House of Armagh, and this is called the Pride of Armagh Rose Oud. Now, this I'm assuming is probably a dupe for something. I couldn't quite put my finger on it from the notes listing, but maybe you guys can take a peek. And if you think that this is a dupe for something, please let me know in the comments. But we've got top notes of lemon, tangerine, pineapple, and lychee, which sounds amazing. Middle notes of orange blossom, orchid, coconut, rose, and oud, and base notes of vanilla, amber, and musk. And I have only tried one thing from the House of Armagh. It's actually a bottle that I blind bought based on Paulina Schar's recommendation. It is Club Nuit Imperial, and it's a really, really, really good dupe for Delina Exclusive, like really, really good. Yeah, I would say it's like 9.8 out of 10, almost exact. And the longevity on it is so good. Like almost like too long. Like you can get to a point where you're like, okay, I've had enough. It's been 3 days. I'd like to smell like something else, but it's really, really, really good. So yeah, so I'm excited, and this is another rose fragrance. I'm excited to see what this is, and I'm really excited to figure out like what this is a dupe for as well. Next up, we have 3 new releases from the House of Byron, and the first one is called Barbarossa. This one has top notes of saffron, violet, and neroli, middle notes of blackcurrant, jasmine, and vanilla, and base notes of Laotian oud, sandalwood, and musk. I have yet to smell anything from this house, side note. So I'm pretty excited for one of these. I'll tell you what it is when we get there. The next one is called Daiquiri, and this one has top notes of grapefruit, melon, and lime, middle notes of marine notes, aldehydes, and pineapple, and base notes of exotic woods, sandalwood, and white musk. This is probably going to be a pass for me because I hate a note of melon. Melon and freesia are probably my 2 least favorite notes, although it's funny, I have a couple fragrances that I really like that have top notes of freesia, but I should say I'm very picky about the note of freesia, and I have not yet met a melon note that I enjoyed. I hate melon. Like just the thought of like eating cantaloupe melon makes me want to gag a little bit. So that's my take on melon. So this is not the one I'm super excited about, but the next one, the third one, is the one that I'm very excited about, and it's called La French. And this one has top notes of almond, coriander, and citrus notes, middle notes of vanilla absolute, iris absolute, and white musk, and then base notes of sandalwood and ambergris. And that just sounds so incredibly delicious to me. I love almond, I love citrus. I love iris. I love anything like musky, ambergris. Yeah, totally my vibe. So I'm very excited about that. Moving on, we have one that I teased out last week for you guys. This is by the House of Celine, and this is called Zuzu. And this one has notes of benzoin, tonka bean, patchouli, labdanum, vanillin, and musk. And it sounds really good. It's launching in June. So we do have an idea of when this is coming, and we're not going to have to wait that much longer. I'm very, very excited. If you haven't checked out the House of Celine yet, I highly suggest doing so. It's a little bit tricky. Like you can't just walk into any perfume store or department store and try these fragrances depending on where you live. So I actually was lucky enough to sample some of the Celine fragrances through a fragrance group that I'm a part of on Facebook. I actually was buying a bottle of Diptyque L'Eau de Tarocco, which I was trying to find for like 10 years, maybe less, maybe like 8 years, and I could not find it anywhere. And this gentleman, this amazing guy in that group, I forget his name, had a half bottle that he sold to me. And then when he sent me the package, first of all, it got to my house within 36 hours of me like paying him for the bottle. And then he also sent me a bunch of decants of like some really nice fragrance just for free, just as an add-on. I was like, that was my first experience purchasing from a Facebook group. And I know sometimes people have trouble. I had the most incredible experience. Yeah, that guy's just a gem. And so he put in like 3, I think, of Celine fragrances that I had never smelled, but I had been really excited to try Black Tie, and Black Tie was one of the fragrances he threw in. And yeah, so good. I'm so sad that they might potentially be discontinuing that. But anyways, I digress. Let's get back to the list. So that was Celine Zuzu. So coming out in June, very exciting. Next up, we have 4 new releases from the House of Montblanc. The first one is called Black Meisterstruck. And this one has notes of incense, spicy notes, and precious woods. All 4 of these fragrances are launching on May 27th. They'll be released into the wild, just so you know. Next one is called Extreme Leather, and this one has notes of leather, iris, and musk. The third is called Patchouli Ink, and this has notes of patchouli, woody notes, and musk. And the fourth is called Vetiver Glacier, and this has notes of bergamot, sandalwood, blackberry, lavandin, and vetiver. I have a feeling that these are men's fragrances, potentially, or unisex leaning masculine. I just have a feeling. Okay. And then the final fragrance that we have on the not yet released list is by the House of Olabanum, and this is called Neroli. And this is a simple fragrance with 3 notes of neroli, bergamot, and jasmine. And this sounds really good. I love neroli. It's one of my absolute favorite notes. So very, very excited to get my hands on that. All right, next category is, again, very short, little small category. We've just got 2. So these are new releases that have been announced, that are out, and that are available. The first one is one that I've talked about a couple of times already on this channel. First, I talked about it as a leak. Then I talked about it as an upcoming release. And now I'm talking about it because it's fully released, and now for the first time I have all the information on it. So this is a limited edition fragrance from the House of Gallivant, and it's called Nita. This is a tea-infused floral amber in a parfum concentration. Opening with mandarin, cardamom, and incense, heart notes are tea, lilac, jasmine, violet, orris, and a sunflower accord. And then the base is constructed around cedarwood, patchouli, moss, tolu balsam, and radiant amber accord. Let me read you the PR blurb. London-based niche line Gallivant will launch Nita, a new limited edition fragrance, in May. Nita is named for the resort town in Lithuania. So I had some confusion earlier around like where Nita was. I had asked anyone in the comments to share. Nobody really knew. So now we know because there's a whole paragraph about it. So Nita, on the beautiful, uniquely beautiful Curonian Spit, a UNESCO World Heritage Site off the amber-rich Baltic coastline of Lithuania, has long been the summer retreat of writers, including Nobel Prize winner Thomas Mann, also artists and musicians. It's also a summer nesting place and an important bird migration route, inspiring our limited edition decorated bottle, which I'll put up a bottle here. I always forget. I think it's over here. I'll put it up here. And for me, this is a note from the founder, Nick Stewart. For me, its allure is the unique location surrounded by water and nature, peace and tranquility, the beauty of a simpler, slower life and simple pleasures. I immediately, when I think of this fragrance, I think of the island of Monhegan off the coast of Maine. Does anyone, let me know in the comments, has anyone heard of Monhegan Island? Let me know. We have a family house. My mother-in-law owns a house on the island of Monhegan, and it's crazy. Like there's barely any cars. I think there's maybe like 5 cars on the whole island. There's like 60 year-long residents that live on the island. And it's just, it reminds me of that movie with Daniel Day-Lewis from back in the day when him and his daughter live off the coast of Maine, I think it is, like on the secluded island, and they like ferry onto the mainland to get supplies. I'm totally forgetting the name of the movie. It was a weird movie. Great acting, of course. Daniel Day-Lewis is one of my absolute favorite actors. I'll put the name down here of the movie. Really highly recommend that movie. Intense, but very, very good. Very well done. And when I went to Monhegan for the first time, that island reminded me of that movie, like just how off the grid it is and how simple and beautiful and peaceful. And it's just a total vibe. It's not something I've ever experienced. You know, I live in a city. I didn't always live in a city, but I've always lived places where the population was like, you know, in the 5 figures, like multiple tens of thousands. And to be on an island with 60 residents, I mean, when I went, there was some tourists there, not very many, but it was just such a trip. Anyways, so I'm very, very excited for this fragrance. I think it's going to remind me of Monhegan a little bit. Okay, I had a small mic issue, being that it died. So I'm refilming the second part of this video. We just finished talking about Nita by Gallivant. The second and last new release that I have for you is called Regime de Fleurs Night Surf Neroli. And I am so excited about these notes. You guys, listen to this. So we've got notes of neroli water, salty mist, neon petals, ginger lily, transparent citrus, hedione, smoked seashells, and ambroxan. Yum. Okay, and last but not least, we have one leak. I put it in the leak section for today. However, I'm not sure if this is actually a fragrance. There's lots of photos of this bottle going around the internet, and lots of questioning around whether or not this is legit. But this is none other than supposedly Tom Ford's Musk Mistress. Now, this is a photoshopped bottle that we're all seeing on the internet. Again, not sure if it's real. If it is, it'll be super cool. I will definitely update you with more information as more becomes available, but I just wanted to drop that out there. If you haven't seen it yet on your social media feeds, then yeah, keep your eye out for this. Hopefully it'll be real. All right, guys, that is all for today's video. It's been a pleasure. I'm so excited to get my nose on some of these fragrances and give them a sniff. Let me know down below in the comments, which one of these are you the most excited about? I think for me, it's probably a mix between the Amouage, Gallivant Snita, and the Regime de Fleur. I'm super excited about those three for sure. But let me know in the comments which one you are most excited to try, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.